Hello friends, welcome to this video lesson that is on constitutional provisions of education in India. Before starting our discussion, let me to introduce myself. I, Dr. Niradhar De, Associate Professor, School of Education, Indira Gandhi National Open University. Welcome you all to this video lesson. Friends, presently we are in the third unit of your online course. The title of the unit is Education and Policies, and this unit is included in the third week of your online course. In this unit, three important lessons are there. The lessons are like constitutional provisions of education in India. Education is a key area of public policy, that is implementation of educational policies and research for policy analysis and planning. And the third important lesson, that is schemes of education. So today in this lesson we are going to discuss the first lesson, that is constitutional provisions of education in India. Now let us go forward. Let me to focus upon some of the important learning outcomes from this video lesson. That is, after going through this video lesson and after going through the part content which is included in the module of your online course, you will be able to discuss the relationship between education and constitution. Then you will be able to critically analyze the constitutional provisions of education in India. First of all, how education is addressed in the constitution and how constitution help to shape education and to educate the citizens of this country, and that we will be discussing in the first phase of our discussion. And in the second part we will be discussing, or we will be critically analyzing the constitutional provisions, the particular provisions that are included in the constitution for education, for the educational development or for imparting education among the citizens. So these are the certain important learning outcomes, and I am hopeful that after going through this lesson and after going through the part content, you will be achieving these learning outcomes. Now let me to focus upon how the relationship between constitution and education is there so far as Indian constitution is concerned. Let me to focus upon certain important aspects, just like the fundamental principles of constitution implemented through educational policies. So in this way, constitution and education is interrelated with each other. There are certain fundamental principles and how to achieve those fundamental principles, and certain fundamental principle is also related to education. Just like recently, if I will say the recent development, I can say that is the Right to Education, Right to Education Act, RT Act 2009. RT Act 2009 that has been implemented from 1st April 2010 across the country, okay, and notification has been done in 2009. So here RT Act 2009 is included in the article 21A of the Indian Constitution, and which is a fundamental right. So when elementary education is a fundamental right of the children of this country, then now it is the responsibility of the state, it is the responsibility of the country to provide free and compulsory elementary education to all the citizens, to all the children, to all the age appropriate children of the state. So how to do it? So the constitutional provisions are further implemented through different educational policies, educational schemes, educational projects. Okay. So here in this way we can say that the fundamental principles are related with different educational policies. So in this way, constitution and education are interrelated with each other. And the second important thing I can say that shifting learning away from rote method. Okay, so this is also important aspect so far as the relationship of constitution and education is concerned. Then RT Act 2009 provides fundamental right to the children to get free and compulsory elementary education. I have already specified it so far as our constitution is concerned. Now elementary education is a fundamental right. So, this is possible through education. So, the fundamental principles are getting implemented through the education schemes, through the act of the constitution, then through different schemes and different projects. Then constitution also safeguards to provide equal and quality education to all. Try to understand. Constitution, the fundamental principles of the constitution, it safeguards the equity, equality, or the right of the children. So, that is why constitution also safeguards to provide equal and quality education to all. Act says that yes, equality should be there, equity should be there, and at the same time how to provide quality elementary education. So, the educational treatment that we provide to the students in our school, so we should ensure that we are providing better education, we are providing quality education for construct quality citizen of the country. Now, let me to focus upon so far as constitutional provision of education is concerned. So, what are the different aspects that are included in constitution which is related to education, which is related to educational discourses, which is related to development of education of the child is concerned. So, you will find the articles, you will find the provisions are distributed in 3 different sections. You will find certain provisions are included in the fundamental rights and education section, and few provisions on education of our Indian constitution are included in the cultural and educational rights of the minorities, and certain provisions are also included in the directive principles of state policy and education. So, particularly now let me to enter upon that what are the different particular provisions, specific provisions of education are there in the constitution. So far as fundamental right and education is concerned, cultural and educational right of the minorities are concerned, and at the same time directive principle of state policy and education is concerned. Now, let me to focus upon the fundamental rights and education. So, what are the constitutional provisions are there? Let me to focus upon some of the important articles. Article 14 of Indian Constitution, it says that the right to equality ensures that the power of the state are not used in any discriminatory way. In relation to education, it is evoked to regulate rules of admission and thus acts for ensuring education to all. Try to understand. Right to equality. All are having the right to get education. So, Article 14 safeguards the right of the child that state should not discriminate so far as educational provisions are concerned, so far as equity and equality and quality education, providing quality education to the students are concerned. So, this is all about reflect in the Article 14 under the fundamental rights and education. Article 15, it says that Article 15 guarantees prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religion, race, caste, sex or place of birth by the state. It also ensures equality in educational opportunities in India. Try to understand. Here also certain you can say aspect of our society, it may be related to religion, race, caste, sex and place of birth. So, guarantees should be given or no discrimination should be imparted by the state to for providing education to the child on the ground of religion, on the ground of race, on the ground of sex or on the ground of place of birth of the child. So, that is why equal facilities will be provided to each and every child of the country. Article 15 safeguards it. Article 15 para 4, it says that it enables the government to make special provisions for the advancement of backward classes including the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribe. It also ensures that reservation in educational institutions for the SCs and STs. So friends, Article 15(4) it says that care should be taken or proper education should be given so far as the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe community is concerned. So that's why they shouldn't be neglected, and the marginalized they shouldn't be marginalized, and their rights should be ensured and reservations should be given so far as their education is concerned. In Article 16A, it says that it guarantees quality of opportunity for all citizens in matter relating to employment or appointment to any office under the state. So equality of opportunity for all children so far as employment, so far as appointment in any office of the state is concerned. So the state should make it guaranteed that they are practicing a policy of equality so far as providing appointment and providing engagement to the citizens in the state is concerned. Then Article 16(4) it says that it ensure that the government can make reservations in favor of any backward class of the citizen. Okay, so if the government feels, if the government thinks that a certain community in the society are down to earth and they are very poor and marginalized, and they are living in the extreme condition, in the extreme geographical and other condition, so state can also give certain reservation to that group of people in the society. So it is also part of fundamental right and education included in Article 16(4) of our Constitution. And now let me to focus upon the very important fundamental right and education, that is, you can say Article 21A. I was talking earlier, that is right to free and compulsory education to all the children of the age 6 to 14 years in a manner as the state may by law determine. Try to understand. So article, it was earlier in Article 45, it says that to provide free and compulsory elementary education to all the children in the age group of 6 to 14. The same thing has been included as a fundamental right, that is in Article 21A, that now it is the right of the children, it is the right of the citizen of this country to get you can say elementary education. It is the responsibility of the state now to provide free and compulsory elementary education. So it comes under the fundamental right now. And the Article 21A, right to free and elementary education up to class 1 to class 8, it also further focuses upon that in the 86th amendment, which was made in December 2002, this article has accorded education the status of right for ensuring quality in educational expansion at elementary level. So now this is not only to provide the compulsory educational facility at the elementary stage, rather to provide quality education also. Then further, at the commencement of the Constitution, education was included as a directive principle of the state policy in Article 45, as I was talking earlier. That was under Part 4th of the Constitution, and so far as right to elementary education is concerned, from the directive principle of state policy, now this has been included in the fundamental right and education under Article 21A, that the state will compulsorily provide free elementary education, fair elementary education, quality elementary education to the children. Next, the other article relating to education, it says, just like Article 28, it says neither the state nor any other agency can impart religious instruction in any school totally managed by the state fund. So religious practices will not be done in the schools if the school is managed by the state fund. There is an exemption for the institutions established under any trust or endowment which requires that religious education be imparted in such an institution. So, if the institution is established through a trust as per the norms, then certain religious based constructive education can also be given. Then Article 46, it says that it states that the state shall promote with special case the educational and economic interest of the weaker section of the people, and in particular of the scheduled caste and the scheduled tribes, and shall protect them from social injustice and all forms of exploitation. So, here also Article 46 safeguards the educational right of the weaker sections, educational right of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and it also promotes their interest to get education and to come to the mainstream of the society. Now, let me to focus upon some of the constitutional provisions that are included under the cultural and educational rights of the minorities. Just like Article 29, it says that any section of the citizens residing in the territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. Try to understand the language that the citizen practice, the script that the citizen practice, the culture that the citizen practice, it is their right. Our constitution in Article 29, the right has given to the citizens that they can preserve, they can conserve their culture, their language and their script. Then no citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institution maintained by the state or receiving aid out of state funds or grounds only of religion, race, caste, language or any of them. Try to understand. On the ground of religion, on the ground of the race of the citizen, caste of the citizen, language of the citizen, no child can be deprived to provide admission, to give admission in a state funded school system. So, that is why in RT Act, in Right to Education Act, if you will go through the recommendations, you will find that one important recommendation is given that 25% private schools, they will take the students, from their community. Okay. So, that is why this is the provision that the private schools, they should provide quality education, not to the students who are coming with by giving a high fees, rather they should come, they should take 25% students from their neighborhood, from their community where the school is established. It also safeguards, you can say, the right of the local community, and it includes in the cultural and educational rights of the minority in particular, but it comes under the Article 21A. And further, Article 30 under cultural and educational rights of the minority, it safeguards right along with protection against discrimination in the receiving of government grants for education. So, there shouldn't be any discrimination so far as receiving the grants is concerned. So, all the institutions of the state who are running the educational institution, they have the right to get the equal grants. Then Article 350, 350, it says that it guarantees the right of all people to use a language they understand in representations for redressal of the grievances. Then accordingly, Article 350A, it says that it safeguards facilities for instruction in mother tongue at primary stage. It shall be the endeavor of every state and every local authority within the state to provide adequate facilities for instructions in the mother tongue at the primary stage. So, here you see it says that, and this is the research findings also research based, that the elementary education or the primary education of the children should be done through their mother tongue. So, that is why Article 350A, it safeguards the instruction the facilities of instruction to the students in their mother tongue, particularly at the primary stage. And now let me to focus upon another article, that is Article 350B, which is included in our constitution relating to cultural and educational rights of the minorities. It says that there shall be a special officer for linguistic minorities to be appointed by the president. Okay, so here the linguistic minorities special officer will analyze and will observe whether the minority groups are getting proper education or not, or getting education in their language or not. And it shall be the duty of the special officer to investigate all matters relating to the safeguards provided for linguistic minorities under this constitution and report to the president. And now let me to focus upon some of the constitutional provisions of education that are included in the directive principles of state policy and education. Here Article 45 is included, and the concept of Article 45, that is the free and compulsory elementary education. Further, this has been included in Article 21A, that is the fundamental rights section of Indian Constitution. But now let me to focus upon the other article, Article 41, under directive principles of state policy and education. It says that it directs the state to make effective provision for securing the right to work and right to education for all within the limits of its economic capacities and development. Try to understand right to work and right to education. Okay, so provisions should be made, and this has been direct to the state that states should come out with the provisions for securing, for safeguarding right to work for the citizens and the same time right to education for all within the limits of its economic capacities and development. Accordingly, just to recapitulate Article 45, it says that Article 45 states that the state shall endeavor to provide within a period of 10 years from the commencement of its constitution for free and compulsory education for all children until they complete the age of 14 years. Consequent upon the insertion of Article 21A, that is making elementary education a fundamental right of all children between the age group of 6 to 14 years. So that's why now it is the fundamental right of the children that no state will deny to provide free and compulsory elementary education and quality elementary education also. And nowadays you will find that across all the states, so far as elementary education is concerned, the learners are getting free books, learners are getting free education, no tuition fee, and they are getting quality education also. And so far as teacher and student provisions are concerned, teacher and student ratio is concerned, you will find that as per the RT Act, for the primary 1:30 and for the elementary 1:35 ratio, the state is also maintaining this ratio. And Article 46 under directive principle of state policy and education, it says that state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker sections of the people, in particular of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and shall protect them from social injustice and all forms of exploitation. So Article 46 is also included, that talks about the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes to safeguard their rights and to protect their rights so far as social injustice is concerned and so far as social exploitation is concerned, and to provide them right education is concerned. Friends, now let me to focus upon some of the important questions for your practice. They are like, now at this moment after going through this lesson, you must have understood the constitutional provisions of education and different articles under the fundamental rights, under the directive principle, and you can say the cultural rights of the minorities, I am hopeful that you might be at this position to answer these questions, like establish the relationship between constitution and education, how the fundamental principles of the constitution are also equally spread education, are also equally address the educational issues of the state, and how to provide quality education, compulsory education, free education to the citizen of the country, and further critically analyze constitutional provisions of education in India in view to three different aspects, that is, or sections you can say, that is, constitutional provisions of education related to fundamental rights and education, where Article 21A is included. Then constitutional provisions of education so far as cultural and educational rights of the minorities are concerned. So, what are the provisions are there, what are the facilities are there, what are the special provisions are there to protect the right of the SCs and STs, and how to bring them to the mainstream of the society. And further, under directive principles of state policy, we have also discussed certain articles that talks about education or educational provisions that is included in the constitution. So friends, in this lesson we discussed about educational constitutional provisions included in Indian constitution, and accordingly how the schemes, policies and educational projects are implemented, are you can say framed, designed and implemented in different states to achieve these constitutional provisions, especially for providing education, or specially for providing equity in education, equality in education, and to provide quality education also. In the next session, we will be discussing other aspect of your online course. Thank you.